Welcome in to this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. I am your fearless leader, Tyler Jones, here with you. Thanks for joining us. Today, we're talking all about Jalen Milroe as his role for 2025 has been defined. We'll tell you what it is and dissect Jalen Milroe and get to know him a little bit further coming up here on today's program. Before we do, folks, let's show some love to Jalen Milroe. I always make a point when we have new players in Seattle. I want to make sure our voices are heard loud and clear that we're supporting these guys. Typically, what happens on this show, folks, is when a new player comes in, whether it's them personally or their family or their friends, you know what they're doing? They're watching Seahawks Today. They're seeing what the media and what the fan base has to say about them. And I want to make sure everybody knows that we're rooting on Jalen Milroe, that we wish him nothing but the best, and we're glad to have him here in Seattle. Spam 6 in the comment section. That's the number he's going to be wearing. Get those sixes in. Let's get at least 300 of them. Show some love to Jalen Milroe, and we'll get started with today's show. So what is ahead for Jalen Milroe with this Seahawks team in 2025? A lot of questions about what that entails. Is he a quarterback? Is he going to compete for the starting job? How much playing time will we see, if any at all? A lot of questions out there. Well, let's start with what Mike Macdonald said recently. He was asked, all right, is he a quarterback? Is he a Taysom Hill type? Because there was a lot of people that were comparing him to Taysom Hill in the pre-draft process. And Macdonald made it very clear. He is a quarterback for us. With all due respect to Taysom Hill, he is not going to play a Taysom Hill type of role. Macdonald said this: the way the Saints used Hill was more of a tight end fullback hybrid role, sometimes taking snaps. Jalen is a quarterback through and through. He's going to be trained to play quarterback for us. When he's in there, he's going to be playing quarterback, but the athleticism is going to come to life when he's on the field. So that was from Mike Macdonald not too long ago. Now let's get into the new update, the report from the Athletics' Michael Sean Duggar. Expect to see Jalen Milroe on the football field this year as a rookie. What does that look like? Here's more from Sean Duggar. Milroe wasn't drafted to just sit and watch as a rookie, though. The plan is for Milroe to earn a chance to play in year one. Okay? So now I got to do my best Brian Windhorst impression. So what does that mean? Very interesting. What exactly is his role then? Well, he's not going to be the starter. Let's go ahead and take that out the window here. He is not threatening Sam Darnold for his job. Sam Darnold is the starter. There is no quarterback competition here. But with that said, there is still a very important role on the field for Jalen Milroe, even though he's not the starting quarterback and he's not a Taysom Hill type. Stay tuned. I'll tell you what that is here in just a bit. That's what we call a tease in the biz, my friends. Do you believe in Jalen Milroe? Be honest with me. You got two options here. You might get an ad break while the ad's playing. Get your votes in. Let me know what you think. B for believe. D for don't. Are you all in on Jalen Milroe? Chime in the comment section and tell us if you believe in Milroe or not. So what is that role exactly? Well, Seahawks fans, do you remember a guy by the name of Trey Lance? Former number 3 pick out of North Dakota State by the San Francisco 49ers. Now, Trey Lance, things did not go well for him in San Francisco. He replaced Jimmy Garoppolo, struggled to stay healthy, and it was not great. But with that said, his first year as a QB in San Fran behind Garoppolo, he saw the football field a decent amount in a significant role. Here's more from Michael Sean Duggar. Milroe's role may become clearer as the Seahawks mix the rookies in with the veterans during organized team activities. A 2-quarterback system with a specific package for the backup isn't uncommon, but it will take time to implement and fine-tune. San Francisco had what may prove to be a comparable setup in 2021 when Jimmy Garoppolo was QB1 and the team had a package for rookie Trey Lance. When both quarterbacks were healthy, Lance played a handful of snaps, mostly in red zone and short yardage situations. Well, Milroe's workload looked the same. The 49ers had an already established offensive system with Garoppolo at the time, whereas Darnold and offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak are building something fresh on a new team with a host of new faces at quarterback, wide receiver, offensive line, and the coaching staff. This makes a ton of sense if you're the Seattle Seahawks to do it this way of carving out that Trey Lance type of role for him, where you're not asking him to be the starter, but you're not ignoring his athleticism and his talent level, where it's too good to not be used in a significant capacity. And honestly, I think this is going to make life easier on Sam Darnold. Look, Sam Darnold, he's not the greatest runner in the world. All right? Whether you're running the tush push or quarterback sneak, or if it's a wildcat package, I don't need Sam to be doing that. I don't need to be risking injury. I can put a more athletic, better runner out there in Jalen Milroe and keep the offense moving and help out Sam. The old adage goes, if you have two starting quarterbacks, you have no starting quarterback. And it might be the most true statement in all of American tackle football. But for Seattle here, this role is not asking him to be a starter. This is not a quarterback competition. This is an accessory. Okay? And we've seen this at all levels. Tim Tebow was very successful at Florida doing this with Chris Lake as the starting quarterback, and the Gators went on to win a national title. We've seen it in the high school ranks, the NFL ranks. This can work, and I think they have something figured out potentially to get the most out of both their talent levels. Now, long term, Jalen Milroe could eventually replace Sam Darnold. That's a possibility. Who do you believe is the real QB of the future? Is it Sam or is it Jalen? I think this is going to be a debate that's going to be fascinating for a long time. I'm not trying to divide the fan base here, but where do you stand? Who do you see being more likely to be the long-term option for this Seahawks team? If it's Darnold, type SD for Sam Darnold. If it's Jalen Milroe, type JM for Jalen Milroe. Tell me in the comments section below. Seahawks Today is bringing you the best Seahawks coverage around with our daily news and rumors, sometimes 2 and 3 videos a day, live shows 3 days a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We also are bringing you breaking news. Even when I'm on the road or in the studio, we got you covered. Q&A mailbags. We got Madden Sims throughout the offseason for every single Seahawks game. Subscribe now. Turn on notifications. Lock us in. Best part about it, 100% free. Let's get at least 20 subs off today's video. YouTube.com/SeahawksTV. Subscribe now. You'll be glad you did. Now, let me say this. For the crowd out there that is all in on Jalen Milroe and you want to see him beat out Sam Darnold and be the starter. The truth of the matter, and even Nick Saban said this at the draft, and we showed you a quote from Saban a couple days ago. Jalen Milroe is a project. He is far from a finished product, but he has probably the highest ceiling of any quarterback in this draft. He is not ready to be a day one starter at this point in time. Could he be down the line? That's certainly possible, but today is not that day. But that doesn't mean he can't be an impact player. That doesn't mean his skill set can't be used in some capacity here. You think about, like, his time at Alabama. He was a starter for 2 years, and that's not a long time. And we saw the good and we saw the bad from Jalen Milroe. I didn't see enough consistently from Jalen Milroe where I say, yeah, he's got to be my guy right now. When his first year as the starter, he got benched, went on to go to the college football playoff that season to turn things around. And then his second season was up and down, just a lot of inconsistency, especially when it comes to his passing abilities here. But that doesn't mean he can't be great at some point, but he's not that guy yet, and that's okay. You look at his scouting report. He can make the big plays on the run. He's got dynamic arm talent. He's well built. He looks like he's straight out of a lab. He's got a sharp release, like the sharper image. But there are the accuracy concerns. And he's going to need some refinement, working with Clint, working with Sam to get to where he needs to go. But with that said, that doesn't mean he can't get there. And here's what we're talking about. The numbers tell this story too. 23 touchdowns, 6 picks, not bad. But then why? Why did he take a step back in 2024? I've yet to hear a good explanation of why another year older, playing with a lot of good talent on that Bama team. Jameson Williams was one of the best freshman receivers I've ever seen in college football. And your numbers went down passing-wise with arguably a better receiving core than what he had the year before. What happened, Jalen? There's work to be done. But here's the flip side of the positives. You can't ignore what he's done as an athlete. 20 rushing touchdowns last year. I don't care if he was playing against little sisters of redheaded stepchild children. That's impressive. 726 yards. And he did that in the Southeastern Conference, a league where it means more. The best conference in college football. That's impressive. Passing numbers, maybe not so much. Will we see him this year? We potentially could at some point if something happens to Sam Darnold or if he struggles. Do you think Jalen Milroe starts at least one game this season at quarterback for Seattle? Predict it for me. Y for yes. In for no. Weigh in and let me know. This could be fun. I mean, there is, I think, something intriguing, fascinating about a young quarterback that has a lot to prove that we don't know. There is a great unknown here. At the end of the day, well, I have some skepticism, and I think everything I've said here is fair. I don't think I've said anything that's been out of bounds or inaccurate by any stretch of the imagination. I think about 99% of my loyal Seahawks Today viewers, where I come in every day and I'm your fearless leader, agree with what I'm saying here, that there are flaws to Jalen's game and that he's got a ways to go. But I'm rooting him on and can't wait to see what he does in 2025, potentially beyond after that. If you made it to the end of today's video, that means you are a real one, a real member of the 12s. Spam 12 in the comments section. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time here on Seahawks Today.